Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back another video from Ham on Beats. We're doing JoJo Fun Facts number 4, and we're just gonna get right into this one.
Hey, I'm on the beat!
Welcome back to another JoJo Fun Facts video. Just like the title says, this is where I go over obscure or interesting facts that relate to the JoJo series. So let's not waste any time and get...
That's cool. Dragon Ball, awesome. I don't know who this is. So potentially a part that I'm gonna get spoiled on, which I need to be aware of. And isn't that Rohan's stand or
Get right to it. The first thing I'd like to talk about are the trips Araki has taken around the world to collect reference material. The first of these was Araki's trip to England before writing JoJo.
Very cool.
After writing his previous manga, Bao, he had enough money to take a 10-day vacation in England. The trip apparently wasn't very enjoyable since his poor English skills prevented him from ordering anything at restaurants.
Oh, that's a bit grim. Because I worry about, like, I want to go to Japan within the next couple of years, and I worry that, like, because I know hardly any Japanese whatsoever, I'm going to experience the same kind of thing. Like, I remember watching a story where someone went to Japan and they just ordered the same thing from McDonald's every day while they were there, and I don't want to do that.
However, he says that this experience helped him start writing Phantom Blood, which was set in England. The most notable of these trips was Araki's 1987 trip to Egypt, which inspired the setting of Part 3.
This is so cool that he's been to all the places that, like, JoJo's is set in as boss.
His editor at the time, Ryosuke Kabashima, was a fan of Egypt and invited him on a trip there. As we know from interviews with Araki, he had always planned to bring back Dio for Part 3, but originally he was going to be fought somewhere other than Egypt.
Okay.
This trip and
Location
Kabashima's
change.
influence helped him settle on that now iconic choice. Araki also says that he was suspicious of the people around him while traveling, which is how he first came up with the concept of enemy stand users.
Oh, okay.
He spent the rest of the trip coming up with the rules of stands that would eventually be introduced in Part 3 2 years later. His visit also made
so
him
he came up with the concept of the stands and everything like 2 years before he even started using them. That's boss.
familiar with the various landmarks of Cairo, which is reflected in the manga. For example, the bridge that Jotaro and Dio's final battle takes place on is based on the real Qasr el-Nil Bridge.
Cool.
He and Kabashima went on a few more trips during Part 2's publication, to places like France and Italy. Part 4's setting of Morio was based on Araki's hometown of Sendai.
Cool. And then he's been to Italy as well. That's boss.
According to him, this made research easy, since he could just quickly travel there to take a few photos.
5?
For Part 5, his trips to Italy can be seen clearly through the real places represented through almost the entire story. For Part 6 in particular, he traveled to Florida and even visited an American prison.
Cool.
For Part 7, he did the same, touring the American Southwest. According to Araki, his favorite food that he ate while he was in America was Burger King. The next topic is a much smaller one, the origin of the catchphrase of Death 13. If you remember, Death 13 and its user repeat the phrase Lali Ho. This is actually a reference to the Japanese RPG series Dragon Quest.
Okay.
In the game, Lali Ho is a spell that puts enemies to sleep, fitting
Makes sense. He attacks people in their dreams.
for a stand that enters the target's dreams.
Cool.
The fighting game Skullgirls includes quite a few references to JoJo. Some of the game's characters have moves referencing Dio.
You see, I don't think I played the second encore, but I think I played, like, the first one.
Valentine can stop time and throw knives, and one of Peacock's attacks has a rare chance to crush the enemy
Roadrunner!
with a steamroller. The character Sarabella has a move called Diamond Deflector, where she mimics Jotaro's iconic pose.
Cool.
The alternate colors for the characters are
sick.
full of references to other series, and JoJo is no exception. The character Eliza has a color palette referencing Dio's appearance in Part 3.
That's very cool.
And the character Big Band has one referencing Jotaro.
Yay.
Big Band himself also references Jotaro through a move that's similar to a stand rush, although instead of saying aura aura aura, he says tuba tuba tuba.
Tuba, love it.
Finally, one of the characters seen in the background of the River City Casino stage bears a resemblance to Jotaro. For another video game related topic, some early concept art for the fighting game Darkstalkers also references JoJo.
Sick.
One sketch features the character Donovan using the stand Moody Blues.
Moody Blues, that's
Another
the one.
shows him
I think what it
doing
was
one of
called,
Dio's
Spot
poses. These were drawn by the Capcom character designers Kaname Fujioka and Takanori Kinoto. Fujioka would later go on to be a sprite artist for JoJo's own fighting game, Heritage for the Future. Speaking of that game, there was actually quite a few characters that didn't make it into the final product. Some of these include characters like the imposter Captain Tennille with Dark Blue Moon, Steely Dan, Arabia Fats with the Sun, and Terrence Darby. It's interesting seeing an actual rendition of Arabia Fats other than his single appearance after being defeated in the manga itself.
It would've been cool to see.
He has a similar piece of artwork from the manual of the Super Famicom RPG, so that's always fun to see. I wonder how some of these characters would even fight, like Terrence, who only barely clashed with Jotaro. Some more concept sketches show that the Pillarmen, SEDC, Wamu, and Cars were at some point planned to be in the game. These sketches are shown alongside ones for Mariah and Pet Shop, who eventually did make it into later versions of the game, so it's possible that the Pillarmen were really close to getting in. Araki is known for making it no secret what his inspirations are.
I want to say that's Clint Eastwood, but I might be wrong.
He repeatedly references things like his tastes in music, movies, literature, and even other anime and manga. But we can actually get a direct sense for some of his manga taste by what he keeps on the shelf in his office.
Cool, what's he got?
Some of these include Monster, Vagabond, Fist of the North Star, Full Metal Alchemist, Kochikame, Dragon Ball, and Akira.
Akira, dang.
Araki has often crossed over with other manga creators as well. On a few different occasions, he's done some promotional drawings of characters other than his own. First, we have a lot of tributes to the classic shonen manga Kochikame. First one from 1993, then 1996, then 2001, and then one from 2016 for the manga's 40th anniversary. This one really shows off the evolution of his style over the years. In 2006, he drew a character in the manga Taizo Mote King Saga. This is a comedy manga known for featuring a ton of references to JoJo.
Right, that's cool. So he drew something in something that references his stuff. That must have been so cool for the original, like the author of the actual thing to be like, oh my god, yes please.
So many that I may have to go over them at some point in a future video.
Tasting a lie.
In 2007, he drew Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. In 2009, he drew Naruto.
That's sick.
In 2011, for its author's 30th anniversary, he drew the character Wingman from the manga of the same name. As part of a 2012 release of the manga Kingdom, 1,087 participants were given a panel of the manga's 26th volume and redrew it, claiming the Guinness World Record for the manga written by the most people. Many manga artists participated, including Araki himself. In this panel, he redraws the character To. Next is a crossover with the gambling manga Usogui. Araki draws the main character Baku, dressed up as his old manga character BT. He would later draw the same character again for the series' 10th anniversary. In 2013, Araki drew the main character Takeo from the manga Ore Monogatari. As part of this crossover, the author of Ore Monogatari drew the two main characters dressed as Josuke and Yasuho from JoJolion. In 2015, Araki drew the character Lady Armoroid from the manga series Cobra. In 2016, Araki drew Kid Goku as part of Dragon Ball's 30th anniversary. In 2017, he drew a character from the manga To Love Ru for its 10th anniversary, and later that same year, the main character Sawako from the romance manga Kimi ni Todoke to celebrate its finale. Later still, he drew the main character Chihaya from the manga Chihaya Furu. And most recently in 2022, Araki participated in an event called Dragon Ball Super Gallery, where various manga artists redrew Dragon Ball volume covers for its 40th anniversary. Araki drew the cover of volume 33.
There we go. That's so cool. Do you know what? Reminds me of Koichi, kind of, Gohan there. And then that's a really interesting take on Perfect Cell. Completely different to Toriyama's way of drawing it, but still very cool looking. I like it.
Featuring the characters Gohan and Cell. While English-speaking fans may be familiar with a lot of the inside jokes of the JoJo community, a lot of similar jokes or trends exist in the Japanese community as well. One example of this is nicknames given to characters by fans. For example, Japanese fans refer to Hermes as Aniki or Big Brother. Araki is actually aware of this, and he says he likes the nickname since it shows how tough Hermes comes across. Another is a fan nickname for Tusk Act 4. Fans in Japan call it Absolute Murder Man, referencing Johnny's ruthlessness and the strength of the stand itself. In a previous video, I went over the JoJo attraction from Universal Studios Japan, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, The Real 4D. But there's been other similar attractions that I think are even more interesting. The 3 escape rooms created for the series. The first of these was called Escape from JoJo's Bizarre Amusement Park, which was themed around Part 4. The premise seems to be that players will try to solve puzzles and collect clues while avoiding sheer heart attack, before eventually capturing Kira with their awakened stands. Not much is known about the actual contents of the attraction, but we do have a lot of pictures of the merchandise that was available.
I suppose with stuff like that, they don't let you take many pictures or videos inside so that you can't ruin it for like other people participating, so I'm not surprised you don't have much.
The food items in particular are the most interesting to me. There's some predictable stuff like Tonio-themed dishes, but also more creative things like burger patties modeled after Josuke's pompadour, a drink based on the time when blood was used to find Shizuka in the water, a sheer heart attack burger, Yukiko-themed food and drink items, and my favorite, the Yoshikage Kira nail-clipping hot dog. The event ran from July to September of 2017 exclusively in Japan. The next escape room is JoJo's Bizarre Escape, The Hotel. This was themed around Part 3, where the group stops at a local hotel called Hotel Haboob and are trapped.
Oh, so that was the guy from the intro,
Trapped there by the stand user, DJ Maker.
So they made
His stand, House of Holy, steals their stands and turns the hotel into a maze that will make anyone who enters it disappear after 1 hour. Each player takes on the role of one of the Stardust Crusaders and can get back their stand to be used in solving puzzles. There was actually an official English run of this event which took place at FanimeCon and Anime Expo in 2018.
Oh man, that's awesome.
There are very few videos and pictures of the event, most coming from the English version, which seems like it was a low-budget affair. There's a very in-depth video on the attraction with an interview with someone who had first-hand experience with it on Medi's channel, so I recommend looking at that video if you're interested. The attraction also came with some merchandise, like Kakyoin-themed cherry candy and Iggy ears. The most recent escape room was Escape from JoJo's Bizarre Museum, based around Part 5 and running January to May of 2020 in Japan. Much like the hotel escape room, this one puts the players in the role of each member of the main cast. This time the original character is a mysterious man named Scatola. His name translates to box in Italian.
Looks like an Iran car from Bleach.
He uses his stand, the shelter, to trap the
but then you get a closer look at it, it's just a mask, but still quite a Rankar-esque design.
Players in a museum, where they'll be stuck forever after 1 hour. He can also seal a person's stand away. The marketing of this one shows off a few more images to give us an idea of how the game worked. It seemed mostly the same as the previous one based on the simple puzzles players solve. Players were also given a Coco Jumbo themed mystery box. There seems to not be as much food documented for this event, but we do see latte art of the characters and a Mista themed salami hot dog. For a smaller fun fact, let's take a look at the Part 3 character Mariah. As you may know, her name is meant to be a reference to the singer Mariah Carey. What you may not know is that Mariah's voice actress Ayahi Takagaki is also a singer who happens to have done covers for Mariah Carey songs.
That's so bizarre.
Oftentimes, the exact spelling of JoJo characters' names in English remain uncertain. Official sources often swap between different spellings, and usually one isn't settled on until an official English source comes out. Unfortunately, even that doesn't help sometimes with the amount of name changes made there as well. If you want to see the full scope of name changes in the series, you can look on the JoJo Wiki's name variants page, which lists out all of them. What I want to talk about, though, is an amusing spelling of Bruno's name. Prior to 2013, his name was officially spelled as Blono. This was the official romanization of his name that was used in the Part 5 PS2 game, as well as on merchandise like figures. Another interesting name change comes from the Italian edition of Steel Ball Run. There, Gyro's name was changed to J-Lo, referencing the American singer Jennifer Lopez. If you've read or watched Part 4, you'd be familiar with the fictional manga created by Rohan, Pink Dark Boy. For all the times that Rohan has appeared in the series, we actually don't know much about it. but there have been times that we got brief glimpses of it in the series. In Part 4 itself, we only get a look at one page drawn by Rohan and some color illustrations on the wall. In the anime, we get some additional glimpses of it, with some Shonen Jump covers and a couple more pages. This cover was drawn by Reki Taki, a former assistant of Araki that now works on the JoJo anime. The spin-off Rohan at the Louvre gives us a look at some of Rohan's early drafts of the manga. In the Diamond is Unbreakable live-action movie, we get a much bigger look at it through Koichi's collection in his room.
I've not watched any of the live-action stuff for JoJo's.
He has a Pink Dark Boy poster, as well as a collection of volumes with art that shows off a bunch of original characters. The most recent appearance, though, and my personal favorite, comes from the Thus Spoke Ushibe Rohan TV drama. Here we got a series of pages for the manga drawn by Masahiko Aoki. According to Aoki, Araki himself actually provided the rough drafts of these pages, which he finished. Unlike other appearances, this one actually gives us dialogue from the story. These have been translated by fans and give us a nice look into what the manga might be like. I especially like this girl with a spear and a leopard that seems to be helping the main character. The most notable page, however, may be when Pink Dark Boy uses what appears to be the stand arrow as a weapon.
Cool.
In April of 2016, Ultra Jump sponsored a contest where readers would create their own version of Pink Dark Boy. 37 works were entered, which are available to view online, but unfortunately none managed to win the 300,000 yen grand prize.
Shame.
Many of them, however, did end up with the second place and lower prizes, which ranged up to 100,000 yen. In the Thus Spoke Ushibe Rohan TV drama, Heaven's Door is portrayed in a very interesting way, where each person's book differs based on their personality.
Oh, wow.
For example, Rohan's editor Kyoka's book is shown as a fashion magazine starring herself, while the book of Rohan's fellow manga artist Jugo is written like a book of notes that slowly gets filled with manic scribbles as he becomes obsessed with the word Kushagara. With the Blu-ray release of the drama's first 3 episodes, we actually got a physical version of Kyoka's book. It contains 6 pages going over her own backstory and random details from her life. It includes things that weren't shown at all in the drama, like her father passing away from cancer when she was 5 years old, how she met her dog Marin, and her daily routine. Speaking of the Blu-ray releases, the JoJo Blu-rays have always managed to come with some interesting merchandise. Back in the first season's physical release, it came with things like a necklace based on Wemu and SEDC's Poison Rings, and a USB stick that makes it look like Santana is crawling into your computer. Part 3 had things such as Flesh Bud themed earbuds, magnets based on Darby's poker chips, and a cream-styled raincoat.
That's class.
Part 4's Blu-rays came with a map of Morio and 2 original drama CDs. Part 5 unfortunately didn't come with anything special, just a production booklet going over the episodes in each volume. A good amount of people are familiar with JoJo's forays into live action.
I've seen it, but
I'd say a
know
good chunk
about
of
it.
you already know about the Diamond is Unbreakable live action movie, for example, or the Rohan TV drama that has been coming out over the past 2 years. But one thing you may not be aware of is JoJo's place when it comes to stage plays. It's surprising just how many different anime or video game series in Japan have gotten some kind of stage show. If you think of any given property, there's a good chance it's got one. But oddly enough, JoJo itself has never actually gotten one of these shows. The closest thing we've gotten, however, is the play Under Execution Under Jailbreak, based on the Araki one-shot of the same name. The original story was released by Araki in 1995 and follows a death row prisoner who's placed into a seemingly normal room where everything tries to kill him. The stage play debuted in 2015 and combines the story with another short Araki manga, Dolce and His Master, a story about a cat stranded on a boat with his owner trying to eat him.
Oh, gosh.
The main role of the prisoner is played by Mirai Moriyama, who would later play the character Jugo Shishi in the second episode of the Rohan TV drama.
Cool that he was able to
I
get in on
really
something
enjoyed
else
his
after the fact.
performance in
That's
that
awesome.
episode, so I would definitely be interested in watching this play. Based on what of the play I've seen, it would be a surreal experience. Thankfully, it has been given a physical release and can be viewed online, but unfortunately nobody has made subtitles for it yet. That's all the topics I have for now, but I will be back for another one in the future. If there's an obscure JoJo topic you'd like to see me cover in another Fun Facts video, comment it down below. If you want to be updated on new videos and chapters, join the
Very cool. Very cool. Love learning new stuff about JoJo's, random stuff. I love that Araki actually went and visited the countries that majority of the stories are actually set in. That's boss. Really cool. Must have been made it easier to actually like, set it, understand like how people are in said places and how the buildings look, etc. And very cool. I will definitely check out another one very soon. Thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video and want to be able to watch patron only reactions such as the original Dragon Ball series, link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is the last, so it helps support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? If you guys think of this, click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys all next time.